This is a very wild story that's developing across several jurisdictions, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. It started with a hit and run where a D.C. police officer was struck by a car and injured. And we're now learning that it ended this morning with a very serious accident on the Virginia Beltway in Alexandria. So let's start at the beginning here. There was a hit and run in Southwest Washington last night, right around 10:30. A D.C. police officer was on duty and was hit by a white Range Rover with temporary tags near the intersection of Martin Luther King Avenue and Forester Street. The driver of the Range Rover did not stop, fled the scene. The D.C. police officer who was hit by the SUV was taken to the hospital. We have been given an update. We're told that the officer is okay and has been treated and released from the hospital. D.C. police, after that happened, they put out a lookout for this SUV, the white Range Rover. We are now learning from a law enforcement source that the white Range Rover with those temporary tags that was involved in the hit and run here in D.C., that it is the same vehicle involved in a very disruptive crash that happened early this morning on the Virginia Beltway near Van Dorn Street. And we have some video to show you here. The Virginia accident happened at around 4 a.m. It closed down all southbound lanes of the Beltway for a period of time, causing major backups. Now, I spoke to a woman who lives in Prince George's County in Maryland. She didn't want to be identified, but she contacted us this morning saying that she saw the white Range Rover being pursued by police when she left her house in Upper Marlboro early this morning, and she gave me a telephone interview. She says that she lost sight of them as she made her way to work, but then when she got back onto the Beltway heading toward Virginia, she encountered the white SUV, the Range Rover, again. Police were still pursuing the vehicle. Now, that was just prior to the crash happening near Van Dorn Street. Listen to her description of what was going on.
Certainly, I think chaotic would be an understatement to describe it, simply because you have the vehicle that I spotted earlier, just a few moments earlier, in excess of 80, 90 miles an hour, and you have the PG police officers, the cruisers, pursuit. Also, there were 15 or 20 cars, I believe, that I saw at the first instance coming out of the community. But once I got on the Beltway, there were far more than that. And because of the vehicle was bobbing and weaving, they too were bobbing and weaving with lights and sirens blazing.
Now, she started to get caught up in the backup that was occurring after this accident happened on the Beltway in Alexandria, so she had to make a detour around. But a very complicated story here involving a couple different situations, different scenes. One here in D.C., that hit and run involving the officer, the police officer, and then it ended with this crash in Virginia. Now, we are waiting to get more detail from police in both jurisdictions. And of course, we're going to be following this story as it develops, and we'll bring you the very latest tonight on News 4 this evening. But a very wild situation unfolding in both D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, both last night and early this morning. Back to you.
A lot more to follow up on. Megan McGrath, thank you so much.